What's up, everybody? Edwin here for NE Fishing, coming at you with another fillet and release video. And this time we're going to do something really weird. In front of me we have the ever so loved and hated chain pickerel, also known as snot rockets, also known as slime darts. They are the bane of bass fishermen all across the state and probably across the nation, wherever they're available. These guys are usually caught as bycatch whenever anyone's out there bass fishing, and they're notorious for cutting lines, but under the right conditions, on the right tackle, they can be a lot of fun, and I personally enjoy them. In fact, I think a slow day of bass fishing, I'd rather take a couple of nice sized pickerel on a slow day of bass fishing than nothing at all, to be quite honest with you. And chain pickerel are one of those fish that are ever so aggressive. They actually fight hard when they're the right size, always eager to bite, and they're readily available to whoever wants to go catch them. In front of me I have one right here in front of me that's about 20 inches that I caught, and then next to it is a bigger version of it, and you can see distinct differences there. This one is pushing 22 inches and is considerably wider and thicker. This one was caught by my friend Miguel. Thanks. By the way, I got your lure out of its mouth, and I will be getting that back to you as soon as possible. So let's get started on filleting the chain pickerel. Yes, you can fillet them. Quite frankly, the best thing you can do with a chain pickerel is to just cook it whole, and then, well, if you have the patience to take out all the bones it has, because it does have a long row of white bones here, as you know, since it's one of the cousins of the pike and muskie. It does have the row of white bones, and it also has an extra set of bones right around here, near the tail as well. But once you learn how to fillet them, they're not that difficult. They're just a little tedious. And I would not bother filleting anything under 20 inches. I don't think it's really that worth it. So definitely keep anything that's 20 inches or bigger to make the most of it. By the way, as far as the pieces that we cut out that will have the bones in them, you can still use them. Like I said, if you don't mind picking out some bones, you can still eat those pieces. Or as you'll see in another video that I'm going to make, you can use those pieces and pickle them. So that should be a video upcoming soon where I'll make some pickled pickerel to make use of those pieces. Supposedly the pickling process softens the bones and you can eat them all. So we'll put that to the test. So let's get started on these guys right now. Alright, first and foremost, to make things easier, we are going to remove the head and the guts on these fish. But before we do that, we're going to make some pre-cuts where we're going to make a cut behind the head and then make a cut running along the whole dorsal spine, all the way to the tail. So let's get started. Cut right behind the head. I want to come right here and just go in about 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch and ride that down, and then once you get right here to the tail, you can push through and finish out the cut. Now we're also going to, I don't think it's really worth saving the belly meat, so we're going to make a cut right here where we're going to cut out this belly meat with the fins all the way to the end. The same thing on this side, except when I flip this fish over, I'm going to cut right along the back right here and follow along. Okay. Once again, once you get to here, you can push through and finish out the cut. Now Now I'm going to finish removing this belly meat right here. Just cutting like that, and then just cutting along like that. Now you can remove all the guts and everything in one shot by just cutting behind the head, cut through the backbone, and then you can pull everything right out. There we go. Alright, so let's finish making the fillet cuts on this pickerel. We're going to start right here on this side. And now that since we've already started right here cutting, we're just going to continue on through there, letting the knife follow the easiest path of resistance, and it will just glide over the ribs. There we go. That's one fillet. Alright, I'm going to flip this guy over. We're going to do the same thing on this side. Cut down. This little strip right there. Go over that backbone. And as you push down on the ribs, and just use the tip of the knife to make shallow cuts, it will ride the rib bones. And then we're going to release the fillet. There we go. There we go. Throw that out. Next step we're going to do is, as you can see, there's no ribs left on these guys. We're actually going to skin it. Start off at the tail. And just skin it through. There we go. I love the meat on pickerel and pike. It's just beautiful, all white meat. Alright, next thing you want to do is, you can actually see them right here. You can actually see the pin bones. You might be able to hear them. Right there. The white bones, I should say. And there's a whole line of them. They go from up all the way from the start of the fillet all the way through, all the way down almost to the tail right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut that off. We're going to actually cut the strip off. We're going to make a line just on the outside of the Y bones, cutting down just a little bit, about 1/8 of an inch. And then they curve out that way towards the top of the fish. So by gently cutting down and then cutting towards the top, make sure you glide over the Y bones, and you'll end up cutting out this nice little strip of boneless meat right there. All the way to the end, and this is completely boneless. You can actually cut this in half, and you got two nice little chicken finger pieces, right? Okay, we're gonna finish removing the Y bones out of here, and all we're gonna do is cut on the other side, and then same thing. Start cutting towards the top of the fish. Try to get just underneath the Y bones, so that way you lose as little meat as possible. So here's a strip of Y bones right there. You can actually see them right there. Again, if you don't mind picking the bones out, you can cook these pieces and then eat them. Or, like I said, we're going to do a pickling video where we're going to cut these into small chunks and pickle them in some mason jars. Alright. Next thing we're going to do is there's a row of Y bones right here that curve a little bit. Use your finger to feel for them. Here they are, right here. And feel for where they end. They go all the way up to here and come around near here. And where you don't feel them, you just want to cut down and you remove that nice little piece of belly meat. Okay. Now the other thing we want to do is we're going to remove these set of bones that are right in here. You can feel them right here. You can even see them a little bit right there, the little white pieces right here. And all we're going to do is cut down and cut away and remove that little piece right there. I'm going to finish removing off these bones by cutting on the other side. And you end up with that little piece right there left over. Alright, there you go. End up with the tail piece, second tail piece, belly meat, and then the little loin. This is why it pays off to only do this on pickerel that are 20 inches or better. Again, not the best job, definitely not the prettiest, but still, you get some good meat out of it. And pickerel are delicious. If you ever had pike, pickerel are just as good with all the white meat that they have and everything. You can bread these up and fry them. You can, saute them as is. Again, we'll also be doing the pickling recipe and many uses. It's a little bit more work, but if you ever hook into a really large pickerel, and unfortunately many times they do swallow the bait down deep in their throat, and the fish is probably gonna die. Keep it and make some use out of it. Alright, I'm going to put these away. Alright, now we're going to fillet this big guy right here. And we're going to do the same process. Alright, we're going to start cut behind the head. Down to the backbone. Go in about 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch. And ride the dorsal down. Get to the tail. We're going to push through and finish cutting off the tail. Okay. Now we're going to do the same thing on this side. Cut right behind the head. Flip this guy over a little bit just so it's easier to handle. And we're going to cut right on top. Same thing, follow the dorsal down to the tail. Then we're going to push through, finish off on the tail. Alright, now we're going to follow right along here. Going to cut out this belly meat. And you can use the where it turns from green to white as a guide, because you're going to end up cutting off the fins anyway. So that side, and do this side. Now we're going to cut right here behind the head, down, cut through the backbone, and then remove all the guts in one shot. Alright, same thing. Got a pre-cut. And follow along down to the ribs. fillet. Flip them over. Now we're going to do the same thing on this side. Just right along the ribs. Remove that fillet. Alright, now we're going to skin it. Look at that. Nice. There's the row of white bones. I want to just try to get right underneath them. Cut away. Fish is like falling apart from being frozen. There we go. Again, not the prettiest job, not the cleanest job, but it still works. There you go. Cut that piece in half. Just another loin piece. And all that right there. It's enough for a meal for two right there. So, like I said, I wouldn't do this unless you catch pickerel that are 20 inches or bigger, and I definitely wouldn't do this unless you catch, like, say, maybe 2 to 4 pickerel. So you have enough for a good meal. Again, don't waste the fish. If you cut out the Y bones, you can pickle them, or you can still cook the meat. You can make a broth out of it and then pick the bones out and then eat the meat. So there's still uses for that. Don't just throw it away. That's why I don't mind using this technique. It looks like I'm being wasteful, but I'm not. So hope you learned something from this. Give this a like if you enjoyed watching it. Please share it, and if you're not a subscriber yet, please subscribe to my channel. All that helps my channel grow. And stay tuned for future videos on freshwater, saltwater, kayaking, whatever it is. I'll go out there and do it. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.